Hi there guys, Ken here, your thrifty apprentice. And in today's video, we are going to be having a colored pencil demo, and it is the first one in a really long time. I am actually using the Prismacolor Verithin pencils. I have a 12 pencil set. Now, unlike regular Prismacolor pencils, these are a much harder lead pencil. And this is actually the final little painting that I'm doing with them before I offer my review on them. I've tested them in a couple of other ways, and I decided to throw on the camera as I did the standalone painting for them. Now, as I said, these are sort of hard lead. And I'm not really used to using a hard lead color pencil. Being a mixed media artist, I typically use my color pencils in combination with other mediums, in order to, pull off a mixed media painting. But here I wanted to use them standalone. And I really didn't want my hands to hurt because they were a hard lead pencil. So I decided to do this composition on sanded paper. Now this is Speedball, if I'm not mistaken. This is Speedball sanded paper, and I've seen a lot of demos and tutorials on YouTube where artists were using colored pencils on sanded paper, and I wanted to give it a shot just to see how easy it would make it to do a composition. And when I tell you, it makes the pigment glide off of these pencils like butter. I really enjoyed this composition. Now, I'll be honest, using sanded paper with colored pencils is not something I would probably do on a regular basis, because as I did this, I did experience a couple of things that I wasn't really crazy about. The first one being that, of course, because it's sanded paper, it has a lot of fallout from the pencil, especially with this being a hard lead. So it has a lot of dust. That's what I mean by fallout. So I was blowing the dust off of the composition as I moved along throughout it, and it was sort of leaving residue of that dust on the background of the paper. So it kind of tinted the background as I finished up the composition, which was a good thing on one hand, because I didn't have to do a background. But on the other hand, if it was a situation where I wanted to just keep the background plain white, I'm not sure how that would have worked using this particular paper. So I'm not sure, as I said, if it would be something I used on a regular basis, but I really did have fun putting off this composition, and I did decide that it may be something I could share, because you guys may be interested in seeing a really easy way to do a colored pencil painting. Now, maybe if you were to spray the painting with a fixative after you finished it, it would cause those pigments to become more stable and sort of adhere to the paper more. But you can see, as I blow the dust or the fallout away, how the areas where I had already colored tend to lighten up a little bit, so to speak, or it'll look like it's more white spaces in it. So to prevent that, I do believe that you could probably color the composition in and spray it with a fixative. I'm not sure. I haven't tried that. I'm going to try it, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in the review video that I offer on these pencils, which shouldn't be too far along behind this video on the channel after this one premieres. So I drew out a butterfly, and I'm using the peacock blue, the indigo blue, black, white, in order to do this composition. Now, the thing about this set of pencils is that the pigment number and the color names are exactly the same from the traditional or the regular Prismacolor Premier color pencil set. So you can match them up identically to those pencils. Now, these pencils, being harder lead, maybe not the best for me as far as mixed media is concerned. I do think that they are a pretty good learning pencil. I mean, they are, professional quality because they're Prismacolor, and they do offer and lend to great detailing. Being a harder lead pencil, they will sharpen to a really fine point. They'll hold that point for a while. And Prismacolor, of course, has the reputation for being a really pigmented pencil, and these, in my opinion, didn't let me down. Of course, I am painting on a sanded paper, so that paper is going to grab much more pigment from the pencil than a traditional paper that you would do a composition on wood. Now, one of the drawbacks to that is that it does wear the lead to the pencil down really quickly, so you do sharpen the pencil a lot, which will cause you to use up a lot of the product a lot quicker than painting on a traditional form of paper would do. But there is no doubt of the color payoff and the ease of painting. Now, it took me, I want to say about maybe 30 minutes in all to do this entire composition, in which if I wasn't painting on the sanded paper, it would more than likely have taken me well over an hour to really get it blended down the way I wanted before I decided I was done. So I did the first and I'm doing the last wing. The video did skip over 2 wings because it's pretty repetitive as to what you do in order to get the color filled in. So I just decided to do the first and the very last wing of the butterfly with you guys. Now, I did blow the fallout away, and eventually I'm going to decide to go back and just cover the entire composition with the pencil without blowing the fallout away, and I'm going to set it to the side until I do a little bit more research on a way of trying to bond more of those pigments to that sanded paper. However, I will say, if you do decide to go ahead and blow the fallout away, it's not a bad look at all. You do get really rich color on it. As far as framing this is concerned, I'm assuming that, after spraying it with a bit of a fixative, you could, like any other painting, put it under matte and frame it behind glass to kind of help protect it. But again, I am going to do a little bit more research on using the colored pencils on the sanded paper and, just taking care of it after you're done. And I will offer a little more information on that in the review of these pencils, as I stated before. So here you'll see I'm actually going back in and filling in the areas with more pigment. And this time I'm not going to blow whatever fallout comes off of the lid away, just to keep the richness of the color. And I'm going to figure that out. Yes, definitely. So pretty easy composition, guys. You can find an outline for it on the internet if you would like to. This is a basic butterfly. I really wanted to just see how these pencils would work and blend pretty well, I will admit, especially on this paper. I didn't have much trouble at all, and I really love the fact that because of the texture of the paper, I was able to continue to layer different colors, and you could see those colors really well. And Prismacolor has a tendency to be a more opaque pencil, so it's great for layering on top of other media to add opacity, add a little body, a little roundness to objects. Standalone paintings, would have been a little bit more opaque. You do have to do a little bit more blending and work to get the composition the way that you would want it to be. However, on this sanded paper, it was honestly a piece of cake, guys. I mean, I can't stress enough how easy this sanded paper makes. So, if you're a person that has like issues with using colored pencils, your wrist hurt, or your hands get tired or fatigued really easily, then this may be something you want to consider, because I mean, I didn't use a lot of pressure at all, and in order to get a really rich color pigment payoff, you don't have to press hard. So I think this would be something you may consider if you're a person who have those type of issues using colored pencils, or even if you're more of a soft pencil lead user and you wanted to give some harder lead pencils a try. This will be a great way to use them and to test them on sanded paper. Now here I'm using a regular Prismacolor white pencil in order to do my highlights. Although there is a white included in the Verithin set, it is not nearly as opaque, in my opinion, as the regular Prismacolor soft core white pencil is. So yes, I definitely use that in order to punch up those highlights. And that's pretty much it, guys. Pretty straightforward, easy painting, just to test them out on the sanded paper, just to test out that harder lid. And as I said, the review is coming up really soon on these, so definitely set your calendars and remind yourself, hit the notification bell. So if you liked anything you saw, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, comment, share, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and as I always tell you, just keep painting.